First of all, thank all of you for coming from wherever you came from. I want to share a few thoughts now. I'm happy to answer any questions concerning a vegan lifestyle. Let's put this in. I have been a vegan my entire life since the age of 5. And I became a vegan because living in a small community in West Virginia, we also spent most of the year in a little farm. And the people that actually owned the farm, along with my father, they were just regular West Virginia hillbilly farmers. So I was out there a lot, and I took a lot of attention with the animals. I would get up at 4 in the morning and milk the cows. I would herd the sheep. But on one particular year, and I guess it was just because I was old enough to realize what was going to happen, Easter Sunday they would take lambs and slaughter them and eat them. So that morning I got up, I went out, opened up the barnyard, and took all the animals and led them across the fields out of the farm and hid them in a neighbor's farm. So I came back later and acted like I didn't know anything. So people went out to get lamb. There were no lambs, but there was no anything. I took the cows, everything. And so finally they figured out I probably knew where they was. And they said, well, Gary, you got to, where's it at? And I said, I'm not telling you. And they said, well, you got to tell us. You know, we're here, we have to eat. No, you eat something else. Well, that created a big confrontation between my father and I. Little me, big father. But I learned a lesson. Go through some pain for what you believe in. Now, at least it develops a sense of character not to fear loss later. And it was a lesson I learned that my mother said, if he's willing to go through that, then we'll find something else to eat today. And from that day on, no one in my family ever had to try to convince me that eating meat was good for you. I was considered the little problem maker. They loved me, yes, but they knew I was a little strange. Absolutely, yes. I was the little rabbit food eater in my home. Interesting enough, all the years that I would try to give suggestions, being from West Virginia, and I'm sure other places, they didn't care to listen to what I had to say. As they began to get older, as my friends began to get older, and I began to see the diseases they manifested: arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, heart disease, elevated cholesterol, fatigue, pain, loss of muscle mass, bulbous bellies, bald head. And every man in my family, I have 10 men in my family, every single one bald. I have male pattern baldness. I was going bald. In fact, if you look at one of my best-selling books from 1970, it's almost 40 years ago, I had real thinning hair. And I had premature gray hair by the time I was 18. Today, you see my hair. All right? This is all me. This is real. That's what a healthy diet does. Look at the skin, 1.8% body fat, not even 2%. And when I'm going back to my reunions, those people look like my grandfather and grandmothers. I wouldn't even recognize them. They didn't have a little badge on. And last Sunday in the state championships, I set a new state record in the 3,000 meter by 4 seconds, won the 1 mile and 1,500 right after that. 661 straight championship races won in 30 years, not a loss. So the idea that as we get older, we have to get weaker, sicker, more feeble in body, lose our muscle mass, libido, quality of our skin, energy is absolutely true if we put the wrong things into the cells. Now, you are what you eat, so why would you want to be a Twinkie? And also, you are the energy. What makes veganism important is not that it excludes animals, per se, but that it does not take a life force in order to enhance a life force. The vegetables, the grains, the nuts, the seeds, the legumes, the tubers, the herbs, everything that my body needs to maximize optimal wellness is encased in that energy. Animals have no life force when they are dead. They have protein and iron, yes, but no life force. When you're dead, the only thing missing is your life energy. Everything else is there. Your heart, your lungs, your tissue, your corpuscles, every part of your body is still there. Yet they don't even teach a course in medical school on life energy. They'll see you sick. What happens when you're sick? You have no energy. You have cancer, you have no energy. Diabetes, you have no energy. Depression, you have no energy. Well, wouldn't it make sense then to do something that enhances energy?
Yes.
So as a research scientist, by the way, for those of you who don't know anything about me, I'm a PhD in human nutrition and public health science. I'm a professor at Fairleigh Dickinson University in graduate sciences. I'm a research fellow at the Institute of Applied Biology and Anti-Aging Medicine for over 30 years. I publish in peer-reviewed literature and present original data on clinical studies, more human clinical studies on lifestyle than anyone else in American history, over 64. My next one will be in December at the World Congress on Anti-Aging Medicine. Between 7,000 to 10,000 scientists around the world will hear my talk on how I reversed menopause completely in 93% of the women who were in a 6-month study. And what did I do? Very first thing I did is I took them off all animal proteins. If it has a heartbeat or a face, you don't put it in your body. And then I detoxified them. Because just being a vegan in and of itself doesn't make you healthy. Because there are kids out here who are going to eat pizzas and sugar and refined carbohydrates and French fries. It's vegan, but it's not healthy. So living foods is the consciousness. And then you've got stupid stores like Whole Foods that you should boycott. Not because he disagreed with our health care plan. I believe in universal coverage. He doesn't. You shouldn't put someone out of business because they disagree with you on a political issue. Then that's tyranny. But because he is a Walmart, that's all he is. And for every Whole Foods that opens up, every small quality health food store closes. And he doesn't support local farmers. He doesn't support local diversified farming. If anything, they destroy it because he has to get massive amounts of product, and they come from Doyle. The big guys, the people that also have genetic engineering. So anyhow, go into Whole Foods if you doubt me. The largest department in Whole Foods is alcohol. Well, I own a health food store on 89th and Broadway, little one, Uptown Whole Foods. I had a health food store I started in 1968. It's still there. Little 400 square foot health food store. If I can have 100% organic and locally grown and kosher and have 4 certified nutritionists give free information all day and all night to customers, and I'm a little tiny fella, why can't he? Because it's bottom line and profit. And that challenges the whole consciousness of providing a forum for healthy eating. So a person can say, well, I'm into organic. Yeah, well, how about organic beef? I went to film a guy. I'm doing a new film for a PBS special on veganism. And I'm bringing out a 1,000-page book to go with it in the spring. You'll see it on public television. I'm going all over the world filming the Hindus, different religions that espouse vegetarianism, and a lot of Judaism espouse vegetarianism. And I filmed some of the leading rabbis in Israel and Ireland and around the world, and showing consciousness. But a person who is a healthy vegan already knows organic. You talk with someone who is a healthy vegan, they're all going to say, oh, of course I eat locally grown, in season, I eat organic. I don't have the refined carbohydrates and the coffee and the sugars. I'm into stevia and agave and healthier items. They have a larger consciousness. Yeah, you should meditate. It's more likely to find someone who is a healthy vegan who is already into meditation and stress management, who believes in world peace and solutions that don't rely upon military intervention to resolve conflict. These are people who are more interdisciplinary, who are more willing to bring people to the table of all walks of life, who are not exclusionary. Where you could be organic, and I went to film a guy down in Shenandoah because I was told this guy's got a great farm. It's an organic farm. It's the biggest one in Shenandoah. The day before I was going off 2 weeks ago to film him, I had a little video there, and it was about Food Inc.